And from there, you now have a president. He may be from Kada, he may be from Amimo, he may be from Unkwere, he may be from Kola, he may be from any part of Nigeria. That way, we now have a grassroots representation. We now have a homegrown democracy. A democracy that can trump up leaders who are good enough, men of goodwill, who can pilot this country out of the doldrums that we have found ourselves. Now, if we have such a president, which is a consensus candidate, I do not think anybody will be agitated that, oh, he's not from my area, he's a Muslim, he's a Christian, he's a that. He's not this. We can have fair rulership. You now have intellectuals who, like the West, authored the constitutions which we copy from. Are they not reasonable people? Are Nigerians not human beings who can reason? Why is it that we are constantly wrong and wrong and wrong? Why is it that we are dreaded everywhere we go? Because of lack of good leadership. Nigerians have good and intelligent people, but will shooting around present such people, trump them up for leadership? Never. It can never happen. There is no right-thinking person who will present himself in such elections. It is still going to be those who are violent-minded. Of course, who are those? They are armed robbers. For me, I will never come out for any elective position once I know that it's going to be all about shooting. If I want to go to war, I will nominate myself and I will go and join the military. But in a peace situation, you are being shot at. How can it be? Fellow patriots, I want us to reason. I want us to reason. Let us all come together and say no to this despondency we have brought ourselves to. We have leadership every 4 years. We are conducting election. And are we conducting elections, or are we conducting armed robbery? At the end of the day, who comes? There are states today that both parliament, leadership are all people of questionable character. These violent men spread all over the place, and they manipulate the constitution every day to make laws that suit only themselves. It is common knowledge. They attack the police, they attack everybody. They don't want any good of this country. So long as their pockets are lined, they are flying over us. Why do you think they will be concerned? It is only men of goodwill that can be concerned, like Jesus Christ, like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. Let us come down to today's world. You know, people like Obama, people like the Bushes and all, who rule their people honestly. Who rule their people honestly for the benefit of mankind. People who will understand that if you don't work hard, nobody will recognize your wealth. There are millions of politicians who are richer than Dangote, but they can never be listed in Forbes 400 list of world millionaires because they didn't prove the source of their wealth. They are richer than Dangote, but nobody will list them. Is it not shameful that you are gathering such wealth that you don't even need? When a man cannot define his need, know the limits of what he needs and what he doesn't need, that man should be pitied. If you are an intellectual, you should know what you need. I eat 2 bowls of fufu a day, and that may be enough for me when I eat my rice in the night. I go to sleep, I read some books, and get on with life. But here we now have people, I want to drive Range Rover blue color. I want to ride Range Rover Sport red color. I want to ride Range Rover this brown color. All the same car. You now line them up. Then another type of car, you line them up. The same colors. Does it not speak of foolishness? Sheer folly. Now, having talked about having such a homegrown democracy that can bring us people of goodwill, who then can reason like human beings, like a government, and do the proper thing. Proper thing being what? Just like I have this newspaper spread in my front. You look at your state and ask the simple question: what is their problem? How can we solve them? That is the primary question. Then, second step is, how do you solve it? Recruitment. Everybody who has opened the books know that for you to have a going concern that is successful, you must recruit the right people. Consider a football match. If you take any and everybody you find to go and play football for you, represent your team, are you not going to lose? But you have to take tested people. Why is it that you call the American president today and talk about Kada Namoda, he tells you what happens in Kada Namoda. You talk about Nkwere, he tells you what happens in Nkwere in Imo State. He is not there, but because he can thumb on the computer and people who are in charge have fed the computer with such information, he can tell you. And then, when you talk about delegation, they delegate properly. And these people who are rightly recruited, and delegated, will definitely do their jobs. You don't need to be there to monitor them. You can just go to sleep and work is going on. As at that time, if you do the right thing, if you do the right recruitment, you can go on autopilot. Because the governor in Imo State is working well, the governor in Kaduna State is working well, the governor in Kwara State is working well, the one in Lagos State is working well. So why do you bother? You don't need to bother. Today, the governors are all fighting for sectional needs. Oh, let me take for my state. Meanwhile, it's not for the state, it's for their pockets. That's wrong. If we have this kind of homegrown democracy, which actually reflects the will of the people, and then people come and do what is right, which is prescribed by books on how to manage economies, why won't Nigeria grow? Within a twinkle of an eye, there will be a harmonization in all these people that different communities have nominated. Then from there, you can place some other strategic positions. From the stem, coming from that each ward, you can have new government officials in strategic positions. Then at the end of there's a kind of harmonization. In a computer age today, it's easy to function. At the end of the day, it is all for the benefit. This community needs roads, that community needs that, and there's a network. And it is done. Then when they go back, the people, of course, whom they report to, will ask them questions. We had called you out in this type of arrangement. Now what has happened? In today's computer age, information is sent out as soon as monies are allocated. Nobody will cheat anybody. Nobody will cheat anybody. And that's the truth. Now I want to say why I felt that Mr. President should listen to this. I want all Nigerians to consider that while Mr. President was sick, many right-thinking Nigerians prayed for him. But the wicked people who are corrupt, both from the north, from the east, from the west, who know that the moment the Lion King is around, no more plundering the jungle. They went awash, doing all sorts of things when he was here. But in the absence of the president, when the vice president became the acting president, I was on radio to remind Nigerians to consider that there was silence from all the agitating groups. And all the praises were, oh, Shibanja is doing better. But the truth is, because they felt convenient that he's no longer there, then they can now rest. But as soon as he came back, they started again. Then let us ask ourselves this simple question. Why was it like that? Why was it like that? The simple answer to it is because they wanted a free-for-all sharing and stealing of the money. And whether we like it or not, I, as a spiritualist, had predicted the predicament of the president. Being a numerologist, if you calculate the name Muhammadu Buhari, it comes to 17, a number of eternity, a number of a person that will leave marks in the sands of time, a number of a person that will be hated, a number of a persons that may even be assassinated. I went to the Guru Chief in Port Harcourt, Chief Chris Amucha, and told him about the problem the president was going to have, that there will be attempts on his life. But of course, as a journalist, he said, "God, not me go talk."